Alright, this is Mr. Gillum, and today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting linear expressions. Now, we're not quite sure what a linear expression is yet, and we haven't really explained it, but basically it's a two-term expression with one variable and one number. Okay, that's as much as you need to know for now. That's a very basic, broad, not specific definition, but basically you're going to have a two-term expression, one variable, one no variable. We'll call that a constant. And the other is going to be the same way. We're going to add them together, we're going to subtract them from one another, and that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to practice. We learned about distributing. We know how to combine like terms. Only apples go with apples, only oranges go with oranges. There's no hybrid, mutant, apple oranges, nothing like that. So let's go ahead and get started. It says, adding and subtracting linear expressions steps. First things first, change subtraction to addition by adding the opposites. That is, change the sign of each term that is being subtracted. Distribute that negative and combine like terms. Alright. So here we go. Are we ready for this? I know we are. You guys are going to like this. Addition. We are going to do these things. Kind of like a variable. Like the variable, like the variable x has a 1 in front of it, so do parentheses. And so how do we get rid of parentheses? We distribute. Alright, that's how we get rid of the parentheses. Well, I know it doesn't look like there's a 1, but really there's a 1 there for me to distribute and a 1 there. So the reason I don't write it is because, well, when you distribute a 1 into everything, it doesn't change what it's worth, 3x plus 6. And when you distribute a 1 into everything, once again, it doesn't really change anything. Negative 2x minus 5, it's all the same as what was there before, except for now there's no parentheses. And so that's how you get rid of parentheses. You distribute. Okay, so they're not necessary anymore. So with addition, it's really simple. Really, it's just the same thing that's already there. You distribute that positive 1, and now we're just combining like terms. So I see a 3x and a negative 2x. So I see a 3x and a negative 2x. I see a positive 6 and a negative 5. I'm going to write it in that order, and now I'm going to look at the first two terms. 3 minus 2 is 1x, but I'm not going to write 1x. I'm just going to write x and 6. Positive 6 minus 5 is 1. That's a positive 1, so I'm going to put plus 1. And so there you go. It's a lot like what we've been doing. Okay. With subtraction, though, here's the important one. So once again, I'm going to test to see if you're listening, because it's really, really important. I want you to put a little star right next to the subtraction, right over here in the margin after the colon. Okay, subtraction colon star. That's what I want to see. Okay. Now, this is really, really important. Like we did in the addition, there is a 1 in front of here, and that's what we're going to distribute to get rid of that those parentheses. But unlike addition, there's a minus sign in between. And so you have to really pay attention to what the sign is in the middle, whether it's addition or subtraction. In this case, what I want to do is not just distribute a 1, but distribute a negative 1 and distribute a positive 1 in the front. So what happens in the front is, again, nothing changes because I'm just multiplying everything by positive 1. 1 times anything is itself, so nothing actually changes. However, in the second parentheses, everything changes. The 2x becomes a negative times a positive, which becomes a negative 2x. And this negative 1 times a negative 4 becomes a positive 4. Okay? That's very, very important that you pay close attention to the sign in between the parentheses, in between each linear term. Okay? Very important. I promise there will be at least 3 or 4 students that I have to say, okay, you need to redo this because you didn't look at the sign in the middle and you forgot to change the sign of both numbers in the parentheses on the second part because of this minus sign. You did not distribute it. So please, 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 please pay attention to what the sign in the middle of the parentheses is. Now that I have this distributing, no more parentheses, I'm just going to write it in order. I see my x's together, negative 5x and negative 2x, and I see my 4 and my 4. And so now I can add, just like we've been doing, negative 5 minus 2. If you like it better as negative 5 plus negative 2, same signs, add and keep. So 5 plus 2, negative 7x. And then my, of course, positive 8 at the end. Okay, so this minus sign is very, very important because it changes both signs in the second parenthesis, not just one, both. Okay, the subtraction has nothing to do with the first parentheses at all, just the second parentheses. All right. So now there is a way to do it vertically. I don't recommend that. I'm going to show you just to say that I showed you. I don't prefer this. This isn't how you're going to do much. Even when we solve equations, I'm going to have you do it horizontally, but if you do want to do it vertically, here's how it works. You take the first term, 5x minus 2, subtraction sign, 3x plus 4. Now, kind of like you're doing, like when we do numbers, like, oh, let's just see here, 19 minus 4. It's the same kind of thing. I know it's a 9 and a 4, but since we're subtracting, it's a 9 minus 4. Same way here, I have negative 2 minus 4, so I'm going to be at negative 6. And 5x minus 3x is 2x. And once again, if I don't have enough variables or terms, I would put placeholders in, okay? But I prefer you to do it horizontally. So horizontally, it would look like this: 5x minus 2. I distribute that positive 1. And I distribute this negative 1 minus 3x minus 4. Okay, so I have 5x minus 3x is 2x. Negative 2 minus 4 minus negative 6. So either way, we get the same answer. I prefer this way because it emphasizes distributing the negative, and that's really what we're trying to get at today. All right. I think we got 6 examples to do. And like I said, this is very similar to what we've done in the past. So let's just go ahead and knock it out here. To get rid of parentheses, we distribute. And in this case, there's no numbers to distribute, so we just distribute a positive 1. And the nice thing about positive 1 is when we distribute it, it doesn't change what's in the parentheses. However, it does change if it's a subtraction sign, because the negative is distributed with the 1. So when I have a negative times a positive, I end up with a negative 3x. And a negative times a positive 4 is a negative 4. So that's very important with this minus sign. You need to pay attention. Pay attention to sign between parentheses. Okay, that's important. All right, so negative 6x and negative 3x. Okay, I'm going to write those together. And I see positive 2 and negative 4. And so when I combine my like terms, if I want to change, that's fine. Negative 6x plus negative 3x, same signs, add and keep. So I'm at negative 9x. 2 minus 4, or 2 plus negative 4, either way, is negative 2. Different sign, subtract. 4 minus 2, bigger sign. Keep the sign of the bigger number. There we go. Okay, so negative 9x minus 2. Addition, much easier. Less work, less to remember. Minus signs cause problems. Addition signs are good to us. 3x plus 1 and positive 2x and negative 6. Okay, like I said, to get rid of parentheses, the rule of thumb is all you do is just multiply in whatever's in front. And in case where there's nothing in front, it's just a 1. So distribute it through. I see my 13x and my 2x. Those are like terms. I want to combine those together. Let's put them together using the commutative property. I have a plus 1 and a minus 6. All right, so let's put these guys together. I have a total of 15 x's, and I have a 1 minus 6, so it goes 1 down to get to 0, and then 5 more left after that, so I'm at 15x minus 5. Okay, or you can do the change, same signs, add and keep. Different sign, subtract. 6 minus 1 is 5. Bigger number is a 6, so we're going to make it negative 5. So however you want to think of it, or however you're adding your numbers, that's fine. Just make sure we end up with that same end result there. All right, let's do 3 and 4. Once again, it's nice because these first parentheses don't ever seem to have really anything in front of them for today. So we're just going to distribute that positive 1 that we know is there. And it's not going to change anything. And that's honestly why the 1's there, is because why we can put the 1 there is because it doesn't actually affect anything inside the parentheses. However, if we're subtracting, we are subtracting both parts. So I need to distribute the whole negative. So negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x, and negative 1 times negative 6 actually ends up being a positive 6. Okay? Negative times a negative is a positive. It's going to be very important. Okay? So let's just take a look here. I have 4x minus 2x is 2x. Negative 9 plus 6. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. There we go. And as you practice and practice your integers, you'll understand. Or you'll be a little quicker too with adding those positive and negative numbers. Once again, let's distribute. 2x minus 8. And this negative 1 here, the whole negative 1 gets distributed. Negative times a negative is a positive 3x. Negative times a positive is negative 1. Let's put our terms together that we like to see together. And I kept the minus that was in front of the 8 with the 8. I kept the minus that was in front of the 1 with the 1. All right. So the minus signs and the plus signs don't carry straight down. All right. They stay with the number right behind them. So 2x and 3x makes 5x. Negative 8 and negative 1, or negative 8 plus negative 1 would be negative 9. Same signs, add and keep. 5x minus 9. All right, on to the last page here. I'll finish them up. Okay. Throw a little 1 in there, and distribute. Nothing changes there. However, be careful. This negative 1 does get distributed to both parts. And essentially what you're going to find is that all it does is change the 2 signs in the middle. Sorry, 2 signs right here. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. This little pattern. When you think something times negative 1, all it does is change the sign. So now let's put all our terms together that we like to see. They're combined like terms here. 8 and 8. So now I have a total of, same signs, add and keep, negative 14x plus 16. And last but not least, a nice little addition problem to finish it off. Put a 1 right there and right there. Distribution, distribution. Nothing changes when I'm just distributing a positive 1. Negative 5x plus 7 plus 3x plus 4. Negative 5x and 3x. Negative 2x. 7 and 4. 11. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so it's a lot of combining like terms still. These are called linear expressions. Once again, I don't see any equal signs on any of the stuff we're doing today. That's because we don't have any equations. We're not solving for x. We're not squishing everything together. Please don't change like this last one to like 9x. Don't try to squeeze numbers or constants in with variables. That's not how we are practicing. That's not how it works. They're two different things. We need to keep them as such. That's it for today.